Hello, my most favorite art teacher and friends. I hope that this day finds you nice and snuggly and warm under a fuzzy blanket with a hot cup of coffee or tea or maybe a grown-up drink. I ain't here to judge, but I am here today to share with you how to maximize your minutes in the art room. And I'm really big on this because I don't have a lot of time, probably like you, with my students. I'll give you a little bit of an overview of what my day looks like, but I find overviews to be really boring. So I'm going to talk about my overview really quickly so you can get through it and we can get on to maximizing our minutes. So I teach kindergarten through fourth grade kids. I see my kindergarten students once a week for 40 minutes. I see my first and second grade students twice a week for 30 minutes. And I see my third and fourth grade students once a week, 60 minutes. Whew. So all that to say, I don't have tons of time with my kids, so maximizing the time that I do have with them is very important to me. And I start right when I greet them at the door because I've noticed that I actually lose a lot of time with my students when I greet them at the door. The teacher's sometimes there, and we might engage in a moment of small talk. The kids see us chatting, so of course we start engaging in small talk, and the next thing you know, I've lost a couple of minutes of my instructional time. So a little preemptive strike that we've been doing is an at-the-door greeting. As soon as I walk out my door, I say to my students, "Hello, my most amazing artists." And their response, "Hello, my most amazing art teacher." 'Cause who doesn't love a compliment? "How are you today?" "Feeling artistic and ready to create." And once that greeting is done, we start to enter the art room. And as we do, I've taught the kids a song for entering the art room. This also stops the small talk at the door. And I'm about to sing the song for you. I don't want you to feel, awkward about it since I am a classically trained singer. So, it's a performance piece. Hold on to your hats. Walking in the art room, 1, 2, 3. All my friends are here with me. Let's learn about Picasso and Vincent van Gogh with the best artists that I know. Sing it again until everybody's in the room and on the floor and seated correctly. This also gives me a moment to kind of redirect students if they need to, because I don't know why we can't still figure out how to sit correctly on the floor. Or if I do have a student who needs to chat with me, then I can have a moment to talk with them privately. All right, so once they're seated on the floor, I like to get to them with a question first before I hear any questions from them. So here's what I've started doing. I purchased this off Amazon for $10. However, I'm pretty sure I could have easily made this with a headband, a stick, because I did have to already reglue it back together, and a piece of paper that's been laminated. This is the question that I wear on my head, or I'll put it on, or I'll meet them at the door with it. This is the question that will lead us into our hot minute of history, which I'm about to talk to you about next. So, who built the pyramids? I'll field just a couple of answers to this question from them before I go into my hot minute of history. Let's talk about that. All right, so I usually will field about 3 questions to my talk bubble to keep it short and sweet. And then that's when I go into a hot minute of history. And here's how I start that. I'll say to the kids, and now it's time for their response, a hot minute of history. And it really is a hot minute. I create very quick prezzies and show them on the TV and talk very quickly to the kids about their hot minute in history they're learning about. I have found that these 2 books have been great resources for me, The Annotated Mona Lisa and Cave Painting to Picasso. Please don't put down your adult bevy to write these down. I'll have the books written in the handout section. Once the kids have learned that hot minute of history, then I teach them a short portion of our Art Will Rock You song, which ties into the hot minute. For example, when we learned about cave painting, I taught them this song. And the lyrics are up on the board, or on the television, so they sing along with me. It goes like this. The very first artists, they painted on some walls with dirt and sticks. No art supplies at all, with mud on their hands. Charcoal and sand, they left their mark where others now stand, singing, art will rock you, rock you. I know, it's glorious. I do that once a week, and all of that, greeting at the door, entrance song, question on my head, and a hot minute of history, I try to keep it at about 5 to 7 minutes. 7 is really pushing it because we've got art making to do. And that's when we start talking about our art making portion. So once we've gone through our hot minute of history, next up is our word of the week. The word of the week is always a tie-in to whatever the kids are working on or creating. For example, my first grade students are printmaking right now, and so our word of the week is printmaking. So if I say printmaking, they say printmaking, they hear the word printmaking, they are to do this. Whoop, whoop, which really captures their attention and helps them learn more of those vocabulary words. Another thing I also do is have an artist inspiration. Just like you, I have an artist that I usually tie in, or several artists that I tie into whatever project the kids are working on. So I might mention that artist inspiration or introduce that artist inspiration at the time. And then, once that's finished, we're ready to start creating. Now you might be wondering how I keep the kids on task. How do I keep them from raising their hand so often when they're not supposed to, or shouting out the answer, or talking with their neighbor? Here's something simple that I have found. The kids know that their class as a whole can earn 2 stickers per art class. And once they reach the end of their sticker chart, they have a 10-minute at the end of art class party. Now I was having a little bit of a hard time deciding, did they earn a sticker or did they not? So here's what I've come up with. Something really simple and visual for both them and me. So I have a little dry erase board here on an easel. I've got a happy and then a not so happy face. Anytime I see the kids doing something great, they walked in quietly, there were no reminders, tick mark. Then they all whoop whooped and there was nobody making odd noises when they were supposed to be whooping, tick mark. If I have to remind somebody who shouted out an answer to me or who's talking with their neighbor, or if I see that person, then I give them a sad face. I actually try hard not to call that person out or remind them. I might just give them a look and then draw a line under here, and they can usually figure out, oh snap, I'm the person who just got us a line under the sad face. So at the end of art class, I look to see, do we have more positive tick marks or more negative? And that lets me decide, do I give them that first sticker? The second sticker is for cleanup, which you know that can be a whole nother barrel of monkeys. So I try to make sure to keep them on task with cleanup and give them a sticker, if it was a good one, for that as well. So that's how I keep them on task and accountable. Another thing that I have started doing is I've got this little light bulb here. I keep mentioning that I don't want the kids to talk, which sounds horrible. I do want the kids to talk, but I want them to talk when it's an appropriate time. When I'm done giving directions and I'm done speaking, then I want to hear what they have to say. Just as a visual reminder, I've got this little light bulb. When the light bulb is off, I'm talking, y'all. Y'all be listening. When the light bulb pops back on, feel free to raise your hand, ask any questions if you're confused, or share something with the class, because I do want to hear what they have to say. I love and value what they have to say. So this is a little bit of a reminder of that for them. Now, once I'm done giving all of the directions, I know that sometimes we struggle with when the kids go back to their seat, it's like I took one of those Men in Black lights and went poosh, and they suddenly have no clue what to do. They just kind of stand there like they've been transported from some other time and land. To nip that in the bud, I have been doing a call and response routine with the kids for years, and I rarely get any kids who don't know what to do. So a call and response is I say something and then the kids parrot it back. If I say it's silly, they do the same. And here's how I get their attention so they know to do this. It's just a clearing of my throat. And then they all do the same. First I will go shopping at the art supply store, where I can get 3 things. The more silly that you make it, the stranger the voice, you talk with an accent, suddenly the kids are super engaged and they remember those steps a lot better. It's also good if you want to throw in those I can statements that you know that we have to always be having us say and the kids parrot back to us. All right, so now that that's done, let's talk about the end of art class. At the end of art class, I do a couple of wrap-ups. I have a board that's called the Look What I Learned Today board. It's divided by grade level. And I field a couple of questions from the kids about what they learned today, and I write their name down and just jot down their thoughts. If I have some early finishers, then I also have Post-its where the kids can write down what they learned today and stick it to that board. But easily the most favorite thing to do is for the kids to play The Smartest Artist. The Smartest Artist is a wrap-up game that we play while we're standing in line to leave. We play it boys versus girls, and we have 3 main people who run the game. We've got a host, a hostess, and a sound effects engineer. I love these little sound machines. I've picked them up at a couple of different places and the kids think they are a riot. So it goes like this. I'll say, and now it's time for, and the kids respond, the smartest artist. And I'll ask them questions from things that we learned today. Ladies, can you tell me the 3 secondary colors? In which case the sound effects engineer hits the drum roll. Ladies get the answer right. Good job, ladies. A little tick mark on the board. Ladies get the answer. Not right. There you go. We play that game for about the last 30 minutes to sometimes 2 minutes of art class, just depending on how much time that we have. We get our 2 stickers for our behavior, if that's what we've earned, and then we scoot on out the door. So, that's how I attempt to maximize my minutes in the art room. I really hope it's been helpful for you. All of these things and the information that I've shared with you, I'll make sure to put them in the handouts. Like I said, I don't want you to have to put down that drink. You guys have a fabulous day, and it was awesome chatting with you. Bye. So welcome to my art room. I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour. I will say that my art room did used to be the school library, so it is massive, and I am spoiled rotten. So when my kids first enter my art room, this is the view that they see, and they walk in, and this is the area on the floor in which they sit. That's where I sit to chat with them about hot moment of history, the word of the week, our artist inspiration, and give directions. That's where you and I were just sitting a moment ago. Once the kids leave that area, then they go collect their supplies at the art supply store, which is where I just have things laid out cafeteria style, things that aren't already on their tables. Once they go to their table, I've got tons of our normal art supplies stashed on the table, a little tabletop trash can, a couple of caddies, and I just created these new laminated messy mats. These mats have color mixing ideas on one side, and on the back it also shows all of the elements of art. You might have noticed me go quickly past this little area in my room. This is the Jungle Lounge. This is where the kids can go when we have sketchbook time. The floor is cushioned. There's a lot of how to draw and reading books over there. They love hanging out in the Jungle Lounge. That gong right there is our cleanup gong, which gets hit, and so the kids know that it's time to, as you guessed it, clean up. Our aprons serve as a curtain over there by the window. And you can see this is kind of the view that the kids see while they're working. Like I said, have tons of cabinet space. I've got my word wall from Laura of painted paper up. I've got odds and ends of collections from all over the world up on the cabinets. Some of the kids' artwork that got saved, I just went ahead and glued to the wall. You can see back here I've got the clean up drums that a drummer plays to let us also know that it's time to clean up, because why not have a clean up drum and a gong? Way to go out with a bang, right? Here's our giant art history wall, which sometimes when watching it or looking at it on television doesn't do the purpose. I bring them over here. It's also fun to gather around the drums too. And don't mind the mess. I'm having some art teacher buddies come over for a little bit of a yard sale, so excuse that. You can also see some of the chalked pieces that the kids made last year up in the ceiling. So there you have it. There's a tour of my art room. As I said, I know I'm spoiled rotten, and as you guessed, I act every bit of it. So I hope you guys have had a fabulous tour. Thank you.